Welcome back, folks, to World of Warships Legends. I'm Soopa-Dave, and today's build and play guide is on Velos. This is a tier 8 premium destroyer that is in the shop right now, 20% off if you are watching this when it comes out. Very underrated cruiser, especially, or underrated destroyer, especially for a pan-European. Now, let's go ahead talk about commanders, and this is a very flexible ship with this, and this is a very underrated ship in my opinion. So the commander that I decided would probably be the best setup for this is Jersey Swirsky with Eric Bay, William Sims, Observant Rage, Look at Me Now, Reaching Out XXL, Smoke on the Water. Now, because this thing has a very good smoke, you could go with Hellrich. And the other thing that this does as well, with if you take Membel, or if you take let's see, if you take Swirsky, Eric Bay, and what you can do is you get Burn It Down XXL, and you can add 2% to your fire chance. You get the detectability, fortitude, and stand or fall, along with refill station. And what that does is give you extra stuff. Now the problem is you won't have the perk that locates destroyer, and that's the problem I have with it. And but you do get an extra really good smoke, and the fire chance goes up 2%. We'll talk about why that's kind of important. This is a farming setup, and this ship can really farm if you want it to. So for a more advanced player, maybe, or in a maybe in a division where you could have a teammate with a located perk, that would be a good way to go. For the sake of the video, though, guys, I'm gonna show you guys what I was using, and honestly, it worked pretty good for me. We're using Stig Erickson, Eric Bay, Swirsky, with contact is imminent, Look at Me Now, Perceptive, and Sheltered Arms. The reason I had this on was testing different builds, and this is a commander I use for um, most of the pan-Europeans that don't have a radar. So worth for you guys testing it out. For our modifications, we're using Aiming Systems Mod 1, Prop Mod 2, Concealment Mod 1, and in fact the Torpedo Relaunch Mod. I know that sounds crazy. Why would we do that on this setup? You get a 15% reload time. When you guys see this, you guys are going to laugh. And because of Stig Erickson on his sheltered perk, risk of torpedo launchers being incapacitated, this is such a handy perk. And then, so you're not really losing out, and you're getting a ton of torpedo reload. Alright, so let's take a look at the loadouts. You have 3 really good smokes, in my opinion. They're very solid. They have a decent consumable time and a dispersion time as well. They do take a little bit, just under 3 minutes to reload, but honestly, these 3 are nice. Now, if you take Conrad Hellrich, you'll get an extra one, and that's up to you whether you want it or not. I generally don't need it, and I much rather have the located perk myself, but I can see why people would want to farm with Hellrich as a commander. You do have 2 engine boosts and 3 defensive AAs as well. Survivability on this build, 17,000 hit points. You do have a 10-9 firing range and a solid reload. So part of the reason we didn't take the reload mod is because it already is 2.2. Now these guns, these 127s, these are 5 inches. Very interesting, guys. Sometimes you want to switch your shell types, see what's more effective for you at the time. Now, if you look at and these do DPM really well on other destroyers. They are lobbies, so they can be hard to aim, but this ship is a very good ship. The torpedoes are good, and the main guns are good. The only thing is it doesn't have all the bells and whistles like a sonar, radar, You know, that type of stuff. But it has really good smokes. And I think that's why it gets undervalued is it don't have like the sonars or radars, right? Now Hellrich also, if you use him, you would get 2% more on fire chance. Why is that such a bigger difference on, I guess, if you're going to go the farming route? When you're putting 4 shells every 2 seconds downrange, bringing your fire chance from 5 to 7%. I know that's only 2%, and it doesn't sound like a lot, but you're almost adding 50% more fires to it because you've added with only a 5% fire chance, and you go up 2%. That is a significant bump, and you do notice it. I can assure you, I have. I may even do another video where I do the just burn everything to the ground video, and this can absolutely do it if you want. But when you're shooting stuff at range, I would switch shell types once in a while, or get your double fire, switch to AP. Um, these guns, you kind of want to play with what ammo type is best. Torpedoes, you have a quintuple launcher, so you get 5 of them. They reload every 30 seconds, so that's real solid. That would be like, especially for the damage that these do, getting 10 every, minute, 10 seconds, pretty solid. Like, pretty solid. And these do not underestimate these torpedoes. They do hit pretty hard, especially for pan-European ones. They have decent range and decent speed. This is a very balanced ship. It has got good torpedoes and it's got good guns. Um, Cannot stress that enough. AA defense is pretty good for a destroyer. A lot of it's out at range too, so 4, 5 kilometers, and you can actually shoot down planes if you need to with the defensive AA. I haven't had a whole lot of issues with carriers in this thing. I don't believe. Let's go ahead. Oh, wait, before we do that, maneuverability. It's actually pretty good. Decent turning circle, especially at the tier 8. Decent turning circle, good rudder, the okay speed. And concealment is 5 kilometers. But I don't think I've dealt with a ton of carriers in this thing. But when I did shoot down some planes. Statistics. Stats aren't super great on this thing for win rate, but everything else is good on it. Even playing around with builds, I've been pretty successful most ways. I will say, if you don't have help, the Hellrich build, when you're using the generalized commander, it can be a lot tougher because you don't know where the other destroyer is, stuff like that. So for beginners, and that's what this guide is made for, I would go with Erickson or Bay. But you guys can see decent stats for a destroyer. Also, you can see armor. It's a destroyer. Try not to take unnecessary damage because you don't have much armor. As we start the match, it's disclaimer time. This is a beginner's video meant to help people new to the ship or new to the game. This is not meant for professional gamers that know everything there is to know about everything in the universe. There are multiple ways to play and build this ship, and I am an above average player. Not the world's best. I make mistakes. You may see one in this match. You didn't come here for pronunciations. I'm as good as anybody at slaughtering beautiful languages all the time. With that out of the way here, guys, another thing I should mention, I forgot completely at the beginning of the video. This is a Fletcher, guys. It's a Fletcher with 1 less gun and 1 less torpedo rack. That being said, the reload is better, so you do have a little bit better HE alpha. Even though you have 4 guns, they reload quicker and they do a little bit more damage. And then also, another thing as well, is that's part of the reason you get the good smokes. It does have better torpedoes than what the Americans have on the Fletcher. So, some things to note about that. So if you like Fletcher, so if you were looking at this thing not liking it, but you like Fletcher, well, you're gonna like it then. I like it. It's one of my favorite tier 8 destroyers in the game. I actually almost now, having played it some and getting used to it, I like it almost as much as katanas. If I wish it had the quarter HE pen like the katanas, but outside of that, I know I sound crazy, but I do like this ship quite a bit. That being said, the other thing about the Hellrich build that's not good is you don't get the unstoppable, right? So if you get your engine knocked out, you're just sitting there, or your steering gets knocked out, you're just sitting there. So that's why I said is it you don't. It's more of an advanced build if you're into that. I've always been more. I want to locate people. Like I know exactly where this guy was. We get sonared, we spot him, and we're gonna actually. You're gonna see we actually get some decent hits on him, right off the bat. Even though we only saw him for a second. We did take a good chunk of his health off for the time being, and we got to be careful here, running into a Lucian with sonar, and that's one thing I wanted to showcase in this match. Like, just not running into something that's got a good sonar or a radar and thinking you're invincible. It doesn't have all the fancy bells and whistles, but what it does have is good torps and good guns. Like, these things are solid when you want to go ahead and start farming. Or DPMing another crew destroyer, especially at close range. You know, these are lobby shells. These are the American 5 inches, right? So they're lobbier. You get close up, though, this thing will melt you before you know it. And I have another good game to showcase that as well that I might play, or I might showcase here real soon. But that being said, once I got a feel for this ship, it did take a little bit because there's so many gimmicks now in the destroyers with the sonars and the the radars. This doesn't seem like it'd be that good of a ship, but trust me, it is solid and it is plenty good. I love it. And we're gonna just start trying to shoot Wisconsin here, and kite that Wooster back out and to run into our torps. Now he's gonna be smart enough to not do that. And we're gonna go smoke up and we're gonna start the farm here. We're gonna see. I start with HE just to see if I can get a fire. And we actually do get a fire, and I switch to AP right away. And we're going to start farming. Now, you're going to have to pay attention to your shell type, what your shells are doing in this. As you're going to see here, we're hitting full pins, but then all of a sudden we're going to start bouncing and shattering. And you're going to see me switch my shell types here in a second once I start to realize it. But you can definitely... you can see how quick this thing reloads. You can really do some damage if you want. You can see we switch there because we're getting way too many bounces. And too many ricochets. Now we get radared. By Wooster, we're gonna back up. Just make it so Wooster can't get to us. I'm not really too worried about BA Montana. He missed his first shot on us when he had the opportunity. And we did go ahead and put torps out kind of in the right area here, but not perfect. You can see we get another fire. And one thing I will say on that Hellrich build, getting 2% fire difference is huge on this ship. Man, getting 7% fire when you're throwing that many shells downrange, you significantly know it. I think I had a match with like 19, 20 fires in this thing. We're going to pop out of our smoke and send some torps at Schieffelin. Make sure he's going to stay spotted, right? Also, our Kleber did a really good job helping us out on that other destroyer. And we are actually going to go ahead towards the other destroyer. Our Kleber played a very good game in here as well. So kudos to the Killjoy if you're watching. Really well played as well. We're going to go ahead and you're going to see we only hit him with 2 torpedoes, but you can see we did a pretty good amount of damage. We're going to throw more torpedoes out. This poor Schlieffen started with full health almost. This Schlieffen, and this is what I'm talking about here. The combination of guns and these torpedoes, I'm not kidding you. This thing can really... If you just let a Velos go and you're not paying attention to it, he will wreck your entire team. Because you're just going to see this poor Schlieffen had nothing. I mean, he had to have had a sonar at some time, and he's probably why he may have dodged some of them first ones. And these torpedoes they're pretty darn quick. Like, I think they're 76 knots, so they're getting there, and they have decent range, and they reload quick. So you're constantly throwing sets out and getting people. You can get them on their damage con, as you can see here. We hit them with another one. Uh, and had this been a more balanced, even match, you guys would have seen this would have been probably a pretty good match here. We're gonna start shooting. Our destroyer buddy is spotting, and as you can see, we're doing significant amount of damage with our guns here. The HE is pretty darn good once you get it going, but AP does work sometimes very well too, especially on broadside and the superstructure. You can see here we're trying to get another fire and get him out, to get him burning. He's gonna hit the island, so we're kind of just planning for that. And then he eats our third set of torps. So, like I said, really fun ship. I really do like this ship. And you have guns, you have torpedoes. You don't have any fancy gimmicks, but you really don't need it in this thing, to be honest with you. And this Hayate runs, this person always runs. Every time I run across this player, they always run at the end of the game. But anyway, you guys, let me know what you guys think of the ship, but I really do like it. But anyway, you guys have a wonderful day. GG Colbert, and we will see you next time, folks. Have a good one.